Muito boa tarde. Bem-vindos à conferência de imprensa após a videoconferência informal dos ministros responsáveis pelos transportes. Temos connosco o Ministro das Infraestruturas e da Habitação de Portugal, Pedro Nuno Santos, e a Comissária Adina Vălean. E vai começar com a declaração inicial o Sr. Ministro. Por favor, Sr. Ministro.
Boa tarde. Foi um belíssimo Conselho Europeu, Conselho informal, onde tivemos a oportunidade de discutir aquela que é, consensualmente, uma das grandes prioridades europeias para a política de transportes, a ferrovia. E eu queria destacar, desde logo, este grande consenso em colocar a ferrovia no centro das políticas de transportes nacionais e europeias. Mas também a importância de se conseguir mobilizar os recursos necessários para o investimento que é necessário fazer. Acho que uma grande maioria dos ministros reconheceram que as largas necessidades que nós ainda temos na Europa e os ambiciosos objetivos que nós definimos carecem de maior investimento do que aquele que está já planeado. Se nós quisermos a grande ambição de duplicar o transporte ferroviário de mercadorias, triplicar o transporte de passageiros em alta velocidade, se nós quisermos atingir os objetivos climáticos, nós vamos ter de investir bem mais do que aquilo que está para já planeado. Foram reconhecidas também realidades e necessidades nacionais distintas e, por isso, e esta é também uma nota importante, num espaço europeu com uma grande diversidade, e se para alguns países os comboios noturnos e o transporte internacional de passageiros são prioridades, para outros países as suas prioridades continuam a ser o desenvolvimento da sua rede de infraestrutura ferroviária e até a modernização da existente. Há um longo caminho ainda a percorrer, portanto, em termos de investimento ferroviário nas suas mais diversas facetas. Infraestrutura, investimento em infraestrutura, investimento em material circulante, na interoperabilidade, inovação e digitalização. Foi claramente partilhado e defendido um documento francês que promove, estimula, pretende estimular e apoiar a transferência do transporte de mercadorias para o transporte ferroviário de mercadorias. E foram também muitos os países que defenderam contratos de serviço público para os serviços internacionais. Não só tem-se assinado ou desenvolvido muitos contratos de serviço público ao nível nacional, mas é preciso assegurar também contratos de serviço público para as ligações internacionais. Mas também, e esta é uma nota importante para a presidência portuguesa, para Portugal, ficou registado a necessidade de nós fazermos uma avaliação do caminho que a União Europeia percorreu até aqui em matéria de política ferroviária e da avaliação da política de liberalização e dos quatro pacotes ferroviários e a avaliação em função dos resultados da política e não em função do grau de abertura ou de liberalização. E esta é uma questão fundamental, porque a competição e a liberalização não são, para ninguém, fins em si mesmo. São, quando muito, instrumentos para nós conseguirmos um serviço ferroviário de melhor qualidade. E a avaliação tem de ser, portanto, percebermos hoje se a política seguida nas últimas 3 décadas produziu os resultados esperados. Nós sabemos que houve uma estagnação no crescimento do transporte ferroviário de mercadorias e um crescimento residual no transporte ferroviário de passageiros. E por isso a resposta não pode ser apenas a resposta preguiçosa de mais liberalização e mais competição. Não é suficiente. Nós temos de perceber o que é que falhou, o que é que não está a resultar, e é para nós muito claro que a falta de investimento é uma das razões principais. E é por isso que nós queremos tanto e temos vincado tanto a necessidade de nos focarmos nos resultados e não no grau de abertura. Porque também sabemos que a competição pode ser um instrumento de desenvolvimento e inovação, mas também tem sido, nomeadamente no transporte ferroviário de mercadorias, um instrumento de concentração. E isso não é necessariamente bom. Quando nós ficamos com alguns dos nossos operadores nacionais em risco. E é por isso que este é um debate que foi suscitado pela presidência portuguesa, que nós queremos com todo o cuidado e seriedade fazer nos próximos tempos e, obviamente, queremos que a Comissão Europeia nos acompanhe nesta reflexão, para a qual não deve haver nenhum tipo de preconceito ideológico ou de dogma. Mas foi um conselho muito importante e, verdadeiramente, o que nós retiramos é uma grande unidade europeia para se investir na ferrovia, para se apostar na ferrovia como um instrumento, como o principal meio de transporte que nos ajudará a todos a fazermos a transição climática, a construirmos um melhor futuro, com melhor mobilidade e melhor ambiente. Muito obrigado.
Madam Commissioner, the floor is yours. Commissioner Vălean, for your initial statement, please.
Thank you very much. First of all, thank you to the Portuguese presidency for putting rail in the center of the debate for the transport sector during the presidency. Current pandemic crisis devastated economically the transport sector. Ridership numbers are still extremely low. Just the other day, someone asked me, a journalist, if this crisis was in any way good for the transport sector, and the answer is plain and simple and unavoidable: no. This crisis didn't have any single positive effect in terms of transports. On a weekly basis, the average loss last year was 466 million euros for the rail passenger service in Europe. The record highs were in December, with more than 555 million euro losses per week. Infrastructure managers have also felt the impact due to the lost revenue from track access charges. The measures taken by the member states for epidemiological reasons will inevitably affect transport patterns, but green lanes and the planned digital green certificates could counteract this development. While we can hope for the best, with the vaccination process speeding up in Europe, the transport will need our support, and rail in particular, if we want to make it a key driver of our green and digital transformation of mobility. We need money for upgraded railway infrastructure, rolling stock, and traffic planning and management. We need more market liberalization to boost better, cheaper, and more innovative services. In the new Connecting Europe Facility budget of 25.8 billion euro, rail will maintain its preeminence, and we will pay particular attention to cross-border projects. I have to underline that the current Connecting Europe facility allocated more than 75% of its budget to railway projects between 2014 and 2020. For this financing period, 21-27, we will continue to support long-term change in rail through the regional funds, through the Recovery and Resilience Facility. As the deadline for submitting the national recovery plans is almost here, I appeal to all member states to include in their list of investments projects related to rail. This new instrument proposed by the Commission can be used for transport and include an increased InvestEU guarantee scheme, whereas for cohesion countries, REACT-EU, Fair Transition Fund offer also additional support. And I'm saying and listing this because Minister is right. We need first investments and we need the development of the infrastructure in order to enable services, and then with competition between operators to increase the share of these services in rail overall scheme. Now, when we speak about rail, there is always a long list of benefits to be taken into consideration, and also a long list of problems to be solved. Yesterday, together with Mr. Santos, the Portuguese presidency, we officially launched the European Year of Rail. I used the occasion to present a project that is dear to me, Connecting Europe Express. This is a train that will travel all over Europe, stopping in most all EU capitals and highlighting the opportunities of international rail travel, as well as the remaining issues to be tackled. On all opportunities, barriers, and the future of rail in general, I'm ready to take your question. And thank you again, Minister, for putting the rail topic at the heart of your presidency.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Minister. Now for the questions and answers, we have limited time, but colleagues, can I just ask you to raise your hands on the WebEx platform if you wish to pose a question. Don't forget also to state your name and the media you represent. And we'll go straight for the first question to Joshua Pozaner from Politico.
Thanks. Assuming you can hear me okay, this is a question for Minister Santos. It's very good to hear the progress on the Connecting Europe Express and the plans to raise awareness around the lack of Europe. But on a more concrete basis, can you discuss yourself plans by the Portuguese government to increase cross-border train routes into Spain? Obviously, there's very few of those at the moment. And secondly, when it comes to the night train, the Lusitania, is it fair for us to assume now that that is cancelled as a service moving forward? And if so, why?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, you know, before, and that's a very important point, because you are, I presume, working at European level, and you are looking as a journalist to the cross borders. But you know what? For the last decades, we didn't invest in our railway network inside our borders. And before giving the priority that you want to give, or at least many want, we need to give a good network, rail network, to our people. And that's our priority, you know, to solve some bottlenecks in the metropolitan areas, to take our network to many parts of the countries, to promote cohesion, territorial cohesion, and to decrease the time of travel between our main cities. But at the same time, we are already making a very important investment in cross-border, in Badajoz. I don't know if you know where, but between Lisbon and Madrid, it's already on the ground. It's already, the works are already progressing. So we, again, between Lisbon and Madrid, and again, between Lisbon, Porto, Vigo, in Galicia. So we have those priorities, but we cannot forget that many European countries still have a lot to do inside their borders. That's what we are doing. Regarding night train, for us it's very important to maintain the night train, and we still have a lot of work to be done with Renfe, our Spanish counterpart. We want to maintain the service. We are able to finance our part, but we need to do it with the Spanish. Thank you.
Madam Commissioner, would you like to add something here?
Well, not in particular, of course. Of course, we are monitoring the development of investments in every member state. It is burdening because these are usually huge investments, but as I stated in my initial statement, EU is ready to support investments through various instruments. Regarding the night train, it's something which is getting a lot of traction in Europe, and I'm here to support the idea and see how this is going to be unfolded. But we need the project promoters to put it up first and see how this is actually developing.
Thank you, Commissioner. Would there be any more questions? We don't see any raised hands. Last chance, and if that is not the case, yes, there is one question, I'm sorry, from Anna, from Politico, I think, as well.
No, it's not Anna, it's Hector Hernandez. Thank you, this is for the Minister as well. I wanted to ask as a follow-up to the question posed by my colleague Josh. So in terms of the link through Badajoz, when can we expect that to be active? I was under the understanding that link was primarily for merchant transport, for transporting goods. When can we expect the link between Lisbon and Madrid to be active? And could I just ask, in terms of what you were mentioning with the negotiations with the Spanish, do you find that the Spanish are being open-minded in terms of amplifying the routes with Portugal? And as a last issue, and I'm sorry to bombard you with questions, but you also mentioned that it's been 10 years without much investment. Your government's been in power since 2015, I believe. So what's been the role of the Costa government in that sense, and why hasn't it been prioritized?
Thank you very much for your questions. First of all, the connection between Lisbon and Madrid, we hope to have our part concluded in the end of 2023. And it's for freight and for passengers. So this is the straight answer to your question. Then I was not talking about just the last 10 years, sorry. Unfortunately, railway is not a priority for the last 3-4 decades. It's not new, the lack of investment in railway. But regarding our government, we are making the biggest public investment in railway since the last 100 years. Oh, I have to speak to the cameras, not to the TV, sorry. So we are making the biggest public investment in railways for the last century. We are ending the first cycle of investment, the Ferrovia 2020. We will end it, we will conclude it in the end of 2023. And we are starting a new cycle of investment. So we are changing. Well, as you well know, we don't start in 2015 making the project and then making the inauguration the next year. So, but the works are on the ground in all the country. So our government, what is doing is give the priority to railway that was not being given in Portugal for many decades. It's a huge change. I can tell you it's a revolution that we are doing in Portugal at the moment. If we could have more money, for sure, we could be doing more. I don't know if there were, regarding negotiations with Spain, the relations between Portugal and Spain are great. We are working on the connection between Lisbon and Madrid. It's already on the ground, the works. And we are planning together the connection between Porto and Vigo in Galicia. We want more. And I had the opportunity to tell the Secretary of State of Infrastructure from Spain today that we need their help to make a connection between Aveiro, Salamanca, Madrid, and another one between Faro and Huelva. So, but for those two, we need much more work to be done between the two countries, because the priorities are Lisbon-Madrid and Porto-Vigo. Regarding the night train, I think if we were able to have a public contract for the international connections, maybe we can solve the problem that way. But regarding Portugal, we are ready to finance the operation in our side, of course. Thank you.
And now for one final question from Ana Coquelare, please.
Hi, thanks. I just quickly wanted to ask about the joint position paper that 16 countries just put out, calling for action on rail freight and also a study on the effectiveness of current measures. So I wanted to ask the Commissioner what the Commission's plans are exactly for boosting rail freight and what we can expect in the months to come.
Madam Commissioner, would you like to start?
Well, you know, we are going to propose an action plan. We are going to tackle the Combined Transport Directive. So, of course, freight is very important for the Green Deal, and it's something we are going to work along with the member states to promote a new beginning towards the role of. But as it was discussed, it's also about services, also about the infrastructure and digitalization. So, yes, that in a nutshell.
Senhor Ministro, quer acrescentar alguma coisa?
No, I don't have nothing to add.
So this concludes our press conference for today. I thank the Commissioner, I thank the Minister, and all of the journalists online. Thank you.